dating in Washington, D.C. is like complete trash right now. It's crazy. And no one wants to talk about it. Everyone talks about it in like our friends groups and stuff like that, but no one talks about it like really on YouTube. And I feel like I'm like the first of what's probably going to be many the more I keep making these videos. But when it's all said and done, DC is going through a dating crisis, and we got to figure out a way to make it better. Because right now, I can't pinpoint whether it's men's fault or women's fault or anybody. It just seems like everybody's equally trash, men and women. So let's talk about it. Today's one of those cold days in DC. The warmth finally left us. I don't know how much walking and talking y'all gonna get in this video before I make it inside. I did get my Starbucks, however. But anyway, back to the topic at hand. I want y'all to hear this because I want y'all to know that I'm not like making this stuff up. I don't just like come up with like these theories of like, oh, the dating world is trash for no reason. I'm not sure if you guys are aware or tracking that social media app made by Instagram that's pretty much supposed to be Twitter's rival. Well, a lot of people have been using it to just post their thoughts all the time. And there's one person in particular that I found that I feel like really resonates with what's going on here in Washington, D.C. This post was posted by Cheryl's B. And she said, I really want to date in the DMV area so badly, but I haven't found anyone I'm attracted to / vibe with. The few I find attractive aren't that consistent because they're probably a hot commodity. That's true. I keep talking and wanting to date in my hometown, Brooklyn. Release me. I don't want to do long distance anymore. Hashtag DMV threads. Also, it seems like everyone is so laser focused on their career. I'm in Noma, which is Northern Maryland, by the way. It's pretty much DC, but like the northeast side of DC. But DC as a whole, granted, me too. She's saying she's focused on her career as well, so she can't blame them basically. I moved here for work, but I want to find my person. I feel like that is the perfect comment, the perfect summarization of all the things that I've been saying. And I've been coming from like the man's point of view. I just think that it's interesting that women have the same things to say. To me, that it lets me know that like things are really pretty much, it's equally messed up on both sides. It's not like just all women's fault here in DC, and it's not all men's fault here in DC. It's a lot going on. But before I comment too far into this, there was a response comment from a local guy here in DC who had this to say: career is life in the DMV. Get used to it. We don't care about love. We want the bag, and the options are unlimited for us educated and ambitious men, especially making six figures. I mean, it's like, I understand the point he was trying to make, but it came out harsh. Now look, I don't talk about my personal life too often here. I just talk about the experiences and things that are happening around me, but I don't really talk about me. But since he made that comment, let me say this. I am a man that fits that same exact category that he just described. And I will say that I am about the bag, trust me, I definitely want to get paid. But I'm not like rejecting the idea of love. I'm just saying that the options that I've seen are similar to what Cheryl's B has been seeing. I just don't even like the options that I even see outside. It's like, people don't want to date here because it's because step one, which is getting interested in someone just based off of what you see from a distance, before you even want to get to know them, you just don't even like that. Why go deeper into trying to actually date right now? Like, it really feels like people are so focused on their career out here that all the little things that would make dating fun or something that you would want to do, it just feels like it's trash. It gets completely forgotten about because people feel like all they have to do is just bring being a provider to the table, or just bring looking good to the table, and then that's it. No one wants to do the extra work. No one cares about what the other side of the table wants from them. We're all just forcing what we want to give to them and saying, hey, either accepted it or I'm moving on to the next person because who cares? There's another one. And then here's what's even crazier. People are always talking about the ratio here in Washington, D.C. They're always talking about the man to woman ratio is like crazy distorted. Some people say it's 100 to 1. Some people say it's 4 to 11. I don't know where y'all getting y'all stats from, but let me show y'all an actual statistic of the man to woman ratio out here based off of a reputable source. Okay, according to wisevoter.com and the DC Office of Planning, the ratio of women to men in Washington, D.C. is 351,106 females to 318,944 males, or 89.84 men per 100 women. The female population has outnumbered the male population in DC for over a decade. Wow, that's crazy. Now look, when you take into consideration the fact that women don't just want anybody, so even though they're is already a skewed ratio of what, 89 men for every 100 women, it doesn't mean that those women want all 89 of those men. Oh no, they want the best. They want the men who can provide, who are strong, who can lead, who are smart, intelligent, who are not gay, who can be emotionally sensitive to their issues, their needs, who can be funny. I mean, when you take all of that and you throw that back into that 89 men who are already left over from the 100, I feel like that really drops the ratio drastically down. I mean, just taking the amount of people who are gay or in the down low out of that calculation, you probably gonna drop it down to probably about 60 men left over or something like that. I'm just saying. Then how many of those 60 that's left over actually make over like $100,000 a year here in DC? I'm gonna drop that down to probably about, maybe about 15 people left over. I mean, look, I think you guys catch the drift of where I'm going with this, right? The facts just don't add up to trying to have a decent dating life out here. And I haven't even started mentioning people's personalities and their moral beliefs and how they were raised or what a man should be or what a woman should be and all that. It's just really messed up. Not to mention social media. Social media is like pouring gasoline on the fire right now. Everyone has a podcast. Everyone has a YouTube channel talking about this. Everyone has their own 2 cents that they want to post on their Facebook page or their threads or whatever. Everyone has something to say about it. And it just gets crazy because everyone's trying to find someone who agrees to how they think, and they just like group up together and team up like, yeah, you're right because you think how I think, you gotta be right. And the minute they find someone who's giving them information that contradicts how they feel, oh no, you're an insecure man. Oh, you just been hurt. You had a bad couple relationships. That's just your perspective. That's not the greater overall view of what's going on in the world. Then you get the people who hate in the comments and they got to spread their toxicity to everybody else. It's a crisis. It's definitely a crisis. Who would want to date in a city like this? Everyone wants to be focused on their careers. I get it. It was always my dream to be able to want to afford a place like where I stay now in downtown DC and be able to call myself 6-figure earner. Who cares? It is so easy to make 6 figures nowadays. Like making $100,000 in DC actually feels like maybe making about $50,000 or $60,000 in any other normal city. I'm gonna just be real with you. Having a salary of $100,000 out here really don't feel like anything. I mean, I made a video about how much it costs for this apartment. This is a 800 square foot, 1-bedroom apartment, and it's really not cheap. And I got it for what I thought was a decent rate for this area. But if you was to take this price of what I paid for this apartment and apply it to somewhere like Houston, which is where I came from, everyone would probably tell me I'm out of my mind or crazy for paying for something like this. But it's just the cost of living out here is just drastically different. Now look, I know it sounds like I'm going everywhere. That's the point that I'm trying to make, is that the crisis that's going on in the dating world here in Washington, D.C. is not pinpointed on one issue where, oh, women are just trying to get over on men and they're just trying to use men, blah, blah, blah. And it's not just that men don't have their stuff together or don't care or whatever, and they're not just being attracted, whatever. It's the multitude of all the things that are going on in the world, from people's well-being and how they're able to provide for themselves first and foremost, before they can even think about being in a relationship. I really believe that everyone should come into a relationship whole and complete, so that whenever they do enter these relationships, that they're adding to it and they're not taking away, no matter what side of the fence you're on, whether it's a man or woman. And being whole isn't just talking about financially, it's talking about mental as well. You should be able to handle problems in life without just breaking down, throwing your phone at the wall, or having certain issues with yourself that you be probably having out here. It's just a lot to deal with. And I feel like the things that our parents taught us as kids or young adults leading into as we're getting older are not being able to be things that can sustain us as adults here in 2024, because life as an adult in 2005 is completely different than life as an adult in 2024. I remember when I was I think maybe high school, and I had friends who had already graduated and they were trying to get their first apartments, and they used to complain about having to pay $600 a month in rent. What? $600 a month in rent ain't even half. It's not even a third of what I pay here. It's crazy. Life has gotten harder, which is one of the reasons why dating has gotten harder. People are literally starting to have higher and higher standards for what they want out of the dating world. Because honestly, I feel like people are starting to date more for help than they are dating for love. I mean, even the guy who just commented on that post I showed you said it himself. Out here in DC, people don't care about love. Men care about getting the bag, and they feel like because they got the bag now, they're the best thing since sliced bread. They're just gonna try to force women to be the type of women they want them to be in order to try to be in a relationship with them. And vice versa. Women feel like because they look good and because they got their own money out here, they don't care about a man with his money. He has to realize that he has to play by her rules to be with him. It's a crisis. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm just trying to keep it real about a lot of this stuff. And I know people get mad and they have a lot of different views and takeaways on some of the stuff that I talk about. And I'm just bringing up things that people won't bring up on YouTube. For some reason, it seems like everybody doesn't want to talk about certain topics because they're afraid to get like slaughtered by internet trolls. But I personally don't care. Y'all can say exactly how y'all feel because this is a safe space on my channel. It is what it is. There's a crisis going on and we really need to do something about it. I don't have the answers. I'm just telling you what the problems are. Maybe we can start to figure out what the answers could possibly be. I'm gonna start asking some friends to possibly chime in on some of these chats that I'm starting to have so you guys can see how everyone feels out here. That's it. That's all I gotta say. I'm done with it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.